Hey guys, it's me, Miss P. Guess where I'm at? I'm in my car. Yes, I am. So today, I have a great subject that I want to talk about: people, places, and things. It is so simple, but at the same time, can be a very contrary operation in that people are not always as aware or as cognizant of the fact that people that they are around, the places that they go, and the things that they do actually have an impact on their lives. And sometimes the impact is not always negative, but sometimes it's not always positive either. So, with that being said, depending on what you want to do in your life, where you see yourself, and the steps that are necessary for you to take to get to where it is that you want to be, paying attention to the peoples and places and things is going to be a very important part of that process. So let's talk about the people first, right? I think that probably is the most varying area for several reasons. Some of the people you can't really control, right? When it comes down to people in your family. So, unfortunately, we cannot pick what family we're born into. These are the people, that are kin to us. These are the people that are connected to us. And some of those environments are pleasant environments, and some of them are not so pleasant. But with that being said, when we are interacting with them, the deciding factor is us, right? So you don't ever have to do something when you get to be a person of a certain age, right? As a child, you do have to listen. You do have to follow the directions of those who are supervising you, managing you, or whatever the case may be. But when you become an adult, young adult, like that, you can kind of gauge, what works for you and what doesn't. So in that light, the reason why I say the people category, is it varies, is because there are certain relationships that you will have over the course of your life that you cannot control. You can control how you handle those relationships, but you cannot control the individuals that you have to have these relationships with, right? Because, again, you're born into stuff. And it is what it is. And when you get an opportunity to break free, then that's what you do. But there are people that you do get to choose. So you get to choose your friend circle. You get to choose who you want to collaborate with personally, right? Now at work, you also don't get to choose, because sometimes you have to work with people that you may not on a normal and regular basis interact with. There will be conflicts in character and personality and all of that, and that's understood. And those relationships, which they are a relationship, it's a work relationship, but it's still a type of relationship, can also be impactful. So the whole people aspect of who do you deal with and how do you deal with them boils down to your interpretation and what you do with the information that's provided to you, right? And so places, as always, places is the same thing. It's like, where do you go? The places that you hang out, the things that you're doing in your regular day-to-day activities. If you're a person that goes to school, inside of your school, if you have a job, at your job, these are all places that you go, and based on where you are, there are people in that environment, and there's things that happen in those environments that can impact you negatively as well as positively. And it's up to you to kind of decipher which is working for you and which is not. Now, sometimes, once again, you can control situations. If you can control it, then you do that to make sure that it's not impacting you in a way that's going to mess with your health or your well-being or your family and their well-being, etc. But if you cannot, and you have to be in that environment, then you do the very best that you can while you're in that environment. Get whatever you need to get done. Try to limit your exposure to the foolishness as much as possible, if that's the case. And then, when it's time for you to depart, you part ways and do what you do. Things. Yeah, let's talk about things. Now, things is a little different. Because, in my opinion, things are controllable. Because things are more or less what you actually are doing, right? What you decide is how you want to deal with something, or where you want to, or what you want to put in your, arena, in your cipher, in your zone, in your aura. And it could be a physical thing, or it could be just, somewhat like behavioral things. So as an example, for me, I know that there are certain foods because I have maybe certain ailments that I'm not supposed to have. I know that there's certain foods, but I eat them because I like them. You know what I'm saying? So that's a thing. I love bread. Bread is something that I can have every single day. Bread is not good for me. And if I'm in the process like I am right now of trying to maintain a certain body weight and trying to stay healthy, not clog up my arteries and all this kind of good stuff, then that's just not what I need to indulge in. So that's something that I can control. Alcohol, tobacco or smoking, whether you're vaping, whether you're using cigarettes or cigars, all of these things have side effects, and all of these things can negatively impact you. And the unfortunate part is they don't just negatively impact you, they can also negatively impact those around you because it's in the air and we have to all breathe this air, right? So that's one of the things that, it's a shaky subject for a lot of people, but it is something that can be controlled. It is something that you yourself can say, okay, I know that this is what goes on in this type of environment, so I'm just not going to go there. I'm not going to go to that place. Or I know that this particular person is very toxic. Like, everything about them is always negative. They never have anything positive to say. They never want to do anything good. They always want to, fight or, steal or whatever the case may be. So this is the person I'm going to eliminate out of my life. So those are the things, those are the decisions that we have to make, right? Those are the decisions that we have to make. Now, some of us don't have the option to be able to make those decisions because maybe of our age, or maybe because our environment is just so small and reclusive that we don't have an opportunity to delve outside of that to be able to see anything else, to know that there's anything else out there, right? Because that's another thing. Like, you can only go as far as you know to go, right? If no one has ever said, hey, you know what, let me show you something different. Let me talk to you about something outside of the norms, thinking outside the box, stepping over the line, crossing the fence, going out of the gate, type of activities. If that has never happened and you're kind of stuck, in a situation, then that is something that does have to be dealt with. But I'm going to tell you where it all starts. It starts right here, right? You get your mind set on the fact that this is no longer good for me. You get your mind focused on the fact that you have bigger dreams, wishes, goals, endeavors, things that you want to do for not just yourself, but maybe you want to be a role model for someone else. Once you get that in your head, then your heart will follow. And here's the other thing, and I always, seem to have to step back into the higher power realm or talk about the law of attraction and stuff like that. But the bottom line is, your higher power is going to look out for you. And he's going, or she, whichever you believe, is going to make sure that you have everything that you need. And once you set your mind to that, once your goal is down and it's solidified that this is where I'm going to be and this is how I'm going to live my life, this is what I want for myself, all of the chips are going to fall into the right place. You know, you'll start to see the dominoes, you know what I'm saying, will start to mesh together and everything will start to work out and the plan will go like it's supposed to go, right? But you are the deciding factor in that. And so I just wanted to kind of touch on that because I think sometimes people are disillusioned about that fact that, oh, you know, this is where I come from, so this is what I have to do, and this is, no, you don't. And there's nothing wrong with stepping outside of where you are from or stepping outside of what you were reared in or, you know, what you know to be, you know, your life, pretty much all your life. There's nothing wrong with stepping outside of that and learning something new, doing something new and testing the waters. There's nothing wrong with that. Now, if you go and you try to do it and you can't, and you find yourself back, then, you know, that's something that has to be dealt with at that time. Whole nother subject, whole nother video. But I just really wanted to make sure that if there's anyone out there that feels like, you know, you're stuck, that you're in a rut, and you don't know why, pay attention to the people, to the places, and to the things that are in your life. Pay attention to that. And if you start to see that the people that you're around is what's hindering you from moving on, then you got to cut that tie. If it's the places that you go, then you got to change your locations. And if it's the things that you do, then you got to drop those habits. It's just that simple. And no, it may not happen overnight, but it can happen as long as you make the decision that that's what you want for yourself. No one can tell you what's best for you when you are the one living the life. You understand what I'm saying? Now, I know as a child that might not be the right statement to say, because if you're under the jurisdiction of your parents, I'm not telling you to get in the car and drive off because, you know, that's what you want to do. I'm talking to adults. I'm talking to young adults. I'm talking to people who can make decisions for themselves. If you are stuck, you don't have to be stuck. And if you feel like you are alone, you are not alone. It has happened to all of us. We've all had to make decisions. We've all had to do things, cut off people, sever ties, and do things that may not have instantly felt good. But in the long run, if we had a plan, we knew why we were doing it, and we had an end game and an end goal, we were able to sacrifice those things, and the loss seemed almost minuscule at the end of the day. So I just wanted to put that out there. Stay positive, do the right thing for yourself and for those around you. And remember, people are always watching. There's always someone somewhere that needs this kind of push, that needs that word, that needs that, you know, solid, hey, let's do this. It's possible, because it is. I promise you it is. All right. So anyway, I just wanted to share that with you all today. I feel like, you know, we have these conversations in our minds sometimes, and we just need to hear it out loud, and we need to hear someone else saying it. And so let me be that voice for you to say the things that you had in your head, but you just didn't know how to get it out and put it into words. All right. So you guys have a great day. Thanks for chiming in today. As always, it's me, Miss B, and on odds. Singing clearly is not what I do.